Okay, so Python database connectivity is one of the concept we study in the course of Python, and this is one of the important concept out of all other concepts. If I have to say, wiser. So here you are not only working with Python, you're also working with another software, that is database, right? Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to marry in external a front end programming language, that is a programming language that is Python, and a back end software that is a database. Okay, so first of all, to learn this concept, you have to implement this concept, you have to know about Python as well as database. So, as per my knowledge, you all have studied only Python. You have not yet introduced to databases, right? Unless until if it is covered in your engineering curriculum, that is okay. But I treat people who are here from various backgrounds where they have not got introduced to database software. So, what is a database software? You have to have a fair amount of idea, then only. Anyways, you have got fair amount of idea in Python programming language, which I taught in recent past. And then database is something which is a different software where you keep store your data, right? So, and you have to be able to marry these two things, front end and back end connectivity. So this is very important for you to work on your projects, be it a mini project or main project, right? If there is no database, you cannot call it as like a project, even though if you do a 1000 liner Python coding, right? So if you don't have database for your front end application, that is not a full-fledged project. So that's the reason, as I was highlighting, this is very important concept. You have to know, once if you know this concept of Python, uh, actually it has to spell like this: Python to database connectivity. Okay, so basically Python, we are trying to, using Python, we are trying to connect it to database. Okay, so first will what shall we do? First 30 minutes as such, we'll try to understand the importance of database, right? People who are very new to database subject, database concept, I will try to make you understand what is this exactly. And then once if you have understood the importance of database, then we'll come back to this concept, right? Why we have to connect to database through Python. Okay, right? Fine, so let's discuss about database, right? Okay, so before getting into the database, you have to understand what is data, right? What is data? Everything around, everything around you is data, right? Am I right? So everything around you is data. That is very much correct. But the point in terms of technology, right? So you will have a whole huge amount of data which you have to process it, right? You will have to analyze the data. You have to process the data. You have to visualize the data. So this is all about, we before getting into the data science and machine learning, first of all, you should know how to store the data, how to process the data, how to analyze the data, right? So all these things you have to understand. So in terms of database software, so before database softwares, actually I'll tell you, people used to work on files. In files, people used to store data, but actually speaking, there are some limitations in working with the files, right? So that's the reason people have went ahead and started working with the database software. So let me give little gyan about that. See, in 1971, okay, a person called ef cod ef cod okay. So is that my voice is clear, guys? Can you just ping in the chat saying yes? Okay, thank you, thank you. So basically, in 1971, okay, a person called ef cod, Okay, so started working with a banking application. Okay, so he used database as he used files to store data. Okay, and he faced lots of problems in storing the data in proper manner, in retrieving the data in proper manner, to make available data for the customer in proper manner. So lots of challenges he faced, right? And he came back with lots of challenges as like learnings. And you know what, those learnings today we call as like rules. Okay, so if you have to know chord rules, I don't know how many of you have done with the DBMS subject in your curriculum. So this is one of the popular statement in database, chord rules. So chord is a person who faced some problems, and he while working one project, so he stated to his team saying that, hey guys, let's not go ahead and work on any more new projects unless until if we don't have a proper software to handle data, right? So I have faced some problems, I am like turning out them as like rules. Now we need to provide solutions for all these problems, right? So let's work on that. So what he has done was, so all each rule he has given to his team and asked to work on the solution for that. And all that solutions clubbing together like divide and conquer, right? So all problems, all solutions of where each and every individual person in the team developed, he clubbed together, and he named it as like a software. I built a software. What software? I built a database software, right? So he named it as like a database software. What category of software it is? Not a programming software, it is a database software. And the name he has given for that database software is DB2, right? So DB2 is the first, it is the first database software which has come into this world. Okay, first database software. Okay, right. So let me tell you why he has named it as like DB2. Okay. So why the reason he has named it as like DB2, because as per him, DB1 is our files. Okay. So the way the mechanism of storing data is files. So DB1, the version of data storing DB1, that is files. Now I have come up with a new software that is, I'm naming it as like a database software, so called. We named it as like DB2. Now you can go ahead and use this data DB2 database software for your client projects, so that you don't have to face these problems. Okay, you don't have to face problems. Okay, right. So total how many rules he has given? Like 13 plus rules he has given. Okay, so no one can tell that how many exact rules he has given, like where on which minute Subhash Chandra Bose has died. Okay, it's always question mark for Indians, right? Okay, so likewise, this is like mystery, like how many rules. No textbooks speaks correct number of rules. That's the reason people speak 12 plus 13 plus as such, right? So chord rules are so important if you have to study database, right? Like if you again, if you are a physics student, okay, Newton's laws how important for you, right? Likewise, if you are database learning student, then chord rules are so important, right? So you being an Indian, who is your father of the nation? You say Gandhi, right? Likewise, being a database student, who is the father of database? EF Cod. Okay, so he helped us in bringing independence. Okay, that's what we believe, right? Likewise, he was the person behind the database softwares. Okay, who introduced database softwares, working with a database software mechanism to this world. I hope you have understood the importance of this guy, right? And I will try to also touch upon few things. If you really remember in your DBMS subject, if you have studied, right, normal forms concept, you must have studied. Even though if you don't know, just listen like a story only. In the normal forms, 1NF, right, 2NF, sorry, 2NF, 3NF, right? BCNF, you remember BCNF, boys cod, right? Boys, I don't know, boys code normal form. Okay, boys code normal form. You must have heard this term. So I'm talking about this fellow only, boys code normal form. Yeah. So yeah, this fellow only, boys code normal form. He is a guru of databases, right? Boys code. Okay, so this fellow given normal form, we have studied, but I am telling you once again, 100 students studied DBMS means not even 5 students also cannot explain Boyce code normal form properly, right? It leads to that much of ambiguity. So, but that much of important concept as well. Okay, right. So I will try to tell you, right, what are all some rules. Okay, so 13 plus rules I was like trying to highlight, right. So can you name some rules, sir? Can you give some examples of rules? I will tell you what are those rules and how does it looks like. See, usually usually we tend to, okay, so types of databases will try to understand on a high level. Types of databases, so there are multiple types of databases we had. Like we have got, like, hierarchical database. Okay, hierarchical database. We have network database. Okay, so we have object based database. Okay, we have a relational database, we have XML based uh, database. Okay, right. So there are like multiple types of databases are there. You know what, we prefer to work with only relational database. Okay, each and every other databases has got its own limitations, and this industry has convinced in working with the relational databases only. So you need to understand, okay, so which databases are called relational databases. Okay, so any database, if it satisfies if any database, if it satisfies 50% rules of EF code. Okay, so we can call that database as relational database. Okay, so 50% of EF code rules means what? It has to satisfy 6 to 7 rules minimum, right? So then that database is called relational database. Okay, right. So now let me try to make you understand. So these rules, how does it looks like, sir? Sir, I am very much eager in building a database, right? I want to develop my own database, right? I wanted to sell my database. So first of all, let's try to understand some examples of databases. Tell me examples of database software. Tell me. I myself were given one name, that is DB2, which has come in from company called IBM. Okay, so that EF code is the ex IBMer. Okay, fine. Now next database, I can say Arkle. Okay, Arkle DB. This is from the company called Arkle. Okay, so I don't know who brought in this Oracle from company, which person, but anyways, the name of the database is Oracle. And my, let's say, SQL server is another database. So this is from Microsoft. Okay, right. Now we have some other databases like MySQL, or people call the same MySQL as MySQL. Okay, MySQL. So both are same. You should not get confused tomorrow if somebody say, I'm trying to work with MySQL, I am facing some problem. So don't ever think that our sir never taught MySQL name, I never heard from his mouth. Okay, so I only know MySQL. Don't ever get into that kind of confusions. MySQL or MySQL, both are same. People elaborate, some people don't, right? So this is open source. This is open source DB. Okay, so everybody can go ahead and download it with free of cost. Of course, above databases are also we can download and work with free of cost. But these are closed source softwares, and the other name is like proprietary driven softwares. Okay, some companies are managing this software, but MySQL is being managing by open source. So my MySQL friend is Python. Python is also open source, right? Likewise, and industry prefer to work with the open source softwares. I hope you know that. Okay, so let me give another example, Sybase. Okay, so Sybase is also one of the database software. Okay, so SQL Lite. Okay, SQL Lite is, as name suggests, it's a very light SQL software. So this comes by default with the Python software. With the Python software. Okay, when you install Python software, the way how you get some 200 plus modules, help modules, when you see, you will get all math module, re module, right, time module, how the way you get your default modules, likewise your SQLite module also will come. So this is like acting as like one of the database software, but this is so light. Okay, just to test something in the database you can check, but you should not use SQL light database software for the real-time projects. Okay, at least for your mini main projects in your colleges also, you're not supposed to use this, right? So these are some examples. Now what the point you have to understand is, sir, we are in the discussion of which database we have to call as like relational database. So you can see these are all the examples of relational databases. All are passing chord rules. So this first, okay, Oracle company developed a database, and they have satisfied the, so they have to study all these 13 rules of EF code which he has given, and they have started providing solutions on by their own in their own format, and they are claiming that this is our relational database because it satisfies the properties of EF code to certain extent. Okay, that certain extent is like 50%. Okay, now I was trying to highlight you example rules how those it looks like. So these people, Arkle or Microsoft or your open source guys, MySQL, they, while they developed, what they must have followed some rules. Let me highlight: data in relational databases, okay, must get stored in the form of, in the form of tables only. Okay, in the form of tables only. So you understand a table is nothing like something like rows and columns. It looks like your Excel sheet. Okay, so you have to store data only in the form of tables only. Understood? So this is what you have to ensure while developing a new database. You as a vendor, you as the owner of a database software, let us say tomorrow you want to manufacture or build, you if you want to bring in your own database software into this world, you have to follow these rules. Okay, then only market will be there for your database, or else nobody will try to utilize your database, right? So next point, let me highlight another rule, right? So at any given point in time, I should be able to access any given specific row in a table. Okay, so this is little tricky to understand, but if you know the concept, again it will be so easy. At any given point in time, I should be able to access any given specific row in a table. So what do you mean by this is, see, your table contains, let's say 1,000 rows, 100 rows, or 10,000 rows, right? Sir, I want to pick 567th row only outside. I wanted to pick 934th row only outside. Other all rows should not come. So uniquely, I should be able to bring out one row, right? So is that possible, sir? Yes, it is very much possible. How? I'll tell you. I will see, there is a indoor stadium, your in Gachibowli indoor stadium, there is a match is happening. Imagine Mary Kom has come. Okay, so you just imagine from all JNTU students of Hyderabad, JNTU Hyderabad students, they have given free passes, or JNTU or Usmania University, to that matter, any university, right? People have given free passes. So every other student has come, like 10,000 plus students have come and sat in the indoor stadium. Imagine, right? Now, from the 10,000 students, let's say one student we have to call out, and he has to immediately leave the stadium because there is some emergency at home. So now you tell me, out of this 10,000, so what do you will, how do you announce that? Uh, how do you announce that? Let's say that guy name is Srinivas. Okay, hey Srinivas, please come out. There is a call for you from your home. Will you say like that? Once if you announce like, hey Srinivas, out of 10,000, 200 Srinivasas will come out, because that names are not unique. Like, everybody can able to, every one in 10 persons, this is common name Srinivas people used to put. I'm just giving an example, right? No sir, we cannot give Srinivas. So, okay, Srinivas from so and so college, please come out. If I say like that, at least 10 Srinivasas will come out, because in one college there can be 10 Srinivasas. So now you have to think and tell me, uh, what is the mechanism to bring out a unique person out of the 10,000 who are sitting in the indoor stadium. Okay, so what is the mechanism what universities follows to call out a student uniquely? Roll number. Yeah, somebody is giving in the chat. Yes, Pranavi understand, that's correct. So roll number comes for every student who is studying. ID card, roll number, right? Okay, university roll number will be there. So this will be some roll number. It will not be there for other person, correct? So a person who is with the so and so roll number, please come out, means automatically that guy only will come. So likewise, we have to, in coming to the databases concept, you have to provide primary key concept. Okay, primary key makes column unique. It will not allow you to take duplicate values. Okay, so you need to, if you input primary key concept to your table, automatically you can able to bring out any given individual row from your table. So this must be supportive. Okay, you should implement this point. Okay, let me give one last example of rule. Okay, so initial letter, okay, Kaushik, that does not work because initials A Srinivas also, there may be a scope like 2, 3 A Srinivasas can be there. I myself will show some examples. In my lifetime, I have touched up with the surname is same, person name is also same. That you keep come across, but if you provide unique roll number, automatically nobody will, that will not be duplicate. Okay, it will be for sure unique only, right? Next, let's move to the third concept. Okay, so if I update in table, it should get reflect in view. Okay, and vice versa. Okay, so what do you mean by that? If I update in view, that will get reflect in the uh, table. Okay, so basically I will explain this concept. You say simple. So there is a table you have here. Okay, a table with some data you have captured here. Okay, so right, so let's say here there is a value x. Okay, this I'm naming is like a table. Okay, table t1. Okay, now you see view means copy paste of this. Okay, it is view 1, it is view v1. Okay, so copy paste of t1 is view. Okay, so views we create for the security reason. Altogether it is a different concept, but you see, if you have x in the middle box, obviously view also contains x. Now in the table, what you did is you modified this x to circular, filled red color ellipse. The moment when you modify this table with any data, immediately this should get also modified same. Okay, so likewise, now let us say here nothing was there, you kept some digit. Okay, when you modified your cell in the view, automatically that should get reflect in the table. Okay, fine. So likewise, this concept, you have to make it allow. So these are some of the rules. Okay, where a database has to by default follow, then only you call that database as like relational database. So tomorrow, if you are the owner of database and you have designed a new database, and let us say, you are, why we design database, tell me first of all. We want to make a market, right? You want to sell your database to different software companies. Hey, please use my database likewise, right? So let us say if you are trying to sell your database software, you are knocking, let's say you are knocking your customer door, right? Customer door, saying that, I have, I'm the owner of XYZ database, XYZ database. Okay, I'm here to show the demo. Will you please allow me? Okay, so then software company owner says, what, hey, stay there only. First, tell me whether your database is relational database or not. Okay, so you will ask this question. So the moment when you say if it is relational database only, sir, please let me come inside and show. If you say like that, oh, if it is relational database, then please come in. Okay, come in. If it is not relational database, please get out from there only. Okay, please get out from there only. So are you understanding why I'm giving this simple example? Industry loves, prefers to work only with the relational databases. Okay, and which is a relational database? A database which takes data in the form of table. Okay, right, fine. Now let us try to understand what is SQL. Okay, SQL meant for structured. So you okay, so before getting into SQL, first of all, so which is the best database should I work, sir? Which is the best database I should prefer? Okay, so now here let me give some GAN to you again. So Oracle is something, see, MySQL is something which is satisfying, like, 6 to 7 rules of EF code. Okay, and whereas your Oracle is satisfying, like, 8 plus rules of EF code. Now tell me, out of these two, which one you prefer to work, either MySQL or Oracle? So obviously Oracle only. Why? Because it is satisfying more rules of EF code. So that's the reason. So more features it will provide for us, correct? So that's how the you have to understand and convince, right? That's the reason you see most of the databases, most of the companies are prefer to work with Oracle DB only. Okay, fine. But let me also tell you something more important. DB2 is a database which satisfies almost all 13 plus rules of EF code, right? Now tell me, now answer my question. Tell me, will you prefer to work with Oracle, or will you prefer to work with MySQL, or will you prefer to work with the DB2, which is as per the rules of satisfaction, how it is? You please tell me what is your understanding. Of course, DB2, right? See, guys, come on. I am the owner of the database, and I know I was the one started off with the, understanding the problems, and then I asked my team to build, solutions. So obviously, I know how to solve the all rules, right? All solutions. So I did that. But what the competitors have done, what they have copied, or they have taken the kernel of this software, and they have built their own database software. So obviously it's simple, guys, in a very simple sense. If I have to understand, see, your class topper is sitting in front of you writing an answer of from the in the exam. Okay, answer sheet, he or she is filling up. So you from behind copying your friend answer sheet, right? So but you will not have that confidence on the subject, and you cannot copy 100% properly. To what extent you can copy, to that extent only you can copy and submit. But whereas your friend, obviously he know the subject, your friend will get good marks when compared to you. Okay, I hope you have understood, right? So obviously DB2 is the software which has provided the maximum solutions for the challenges what we face without databases. And the other databases, other companies have slowly started inculcating those kernels into their software, and they build their own database software. Now, sir, if this is the case, as per last 2 minutes of explanation, DB2 must rule out IT industry, right? But I will tell you, if there are 1 lakh companies in the, okay, let me give for the easy calculation, there are 100 companies are there. Okay, so I will tell you 70% of the companies, okay, 70% of the companies are using Oracle only. Okay, right. And I will tell you 20% of the companies are using MySQL only. Okay, and 10% of the companies are using other databases. I can tell you DB2, I can tell you SQL Server. Okay, so not even exact 10% are DB2 customers, right? So sir, how can you tell that, how can you tell that okay, so DB2 is best, right? Then why people are preferring to work with Oracle DB only, right? And twice the time of people are using MySQL only. So why it is like this, I'll tell you. To make you understand this concept, I will explain a very simple example. See, if 100 people are using mobiles in real time, okay, so can I say that 80% of the people are using Android phones? Yes, I can do that, I can say that. Okay, Android phones comes with 2k 2000 rupees also, right? Okay, I don't know if it comes less than that, but minimum I'm taking 2000 rupees also. From 2000 rupees onwards, you can purchase Android phones. Okay, what is the basic feature you want? You want incoming, okay, you want outgoing, you want WhatsApp, okay, you want FB, right? Okay, so likewise few applications, that's enough, good for me. Okay, right. Now tell me, can I say 15% are using iOS like Apple, right? So Apple comes up with like what minimum 50k is what you have to invest to purchase an Apple phone, right? Okay, so minimum 50k is what you have to invest. So same features above what you are expecting you can do in Apple also, right? Okay, am I right or wrong? So 5% I am leaving to 5% I am leaving to other BlackBerry or this berry likewise, so other mobile platforms, other companies. Okay, so what is your understanding? Tell me. But now tell me, do you love iOS or Android? Tell me. And the moment the playing songs, okay, the clarity, the features, extraordinary will be in Android or iOS? Tell me. Obviously iOS only. Am I right or wrong? In Apple phones, am I right or wrong? The quality of Apple phone, the quality of Android phone, you yourself can able to judge, right? So but today, tell me how many of your hands are there in your hands iOS phone. Here we have 25 people. How many of you are maintaining iOS phone? Maybe some 3 4 people, but I can 100% tell that 15 to 18 people are for sure maintaining Android led mobiles only, correct? Though iOS is super, why you have purchased Android? Tell me. You have your own reasons, right? What, sir? That expensive I cannot put, sir. And for me, my yeah, price. There are multiple factors, right? So price. Okay, so yeah, this is the key factor I can highlight. So that's how it is. Now you got the point. Yeah. So companies are what they want the basic features. Okay, so basic 100 features, 100 features your Oracle is fulfilling. Okay, so the basic 100 features your uh, SQL is fulfilling. Okay, so with this 100 features they can able to manage their project work. Okay, so this is coming up with, let's say, 1 lakh rupee one license. Okay, this is anyways coming for free, open source, right? And you see, okay, if you see, if I have to just name for our easy understanding, DB2, right? So DB2, it's a basic 100 features. Okay, along with you have some additional 25 features you have, but you don't bother about that additional 25 features, right? As long as you don't have the requirement. A DB2 license is, people are selling it for, let's say, 10 lakhs. Now tell me, if you can able to manage your project work with the basic 100 features, whatever Oracle and MySQL are providing, right? With when the software is coming for 1 lakh, why the hell you will go ahead and purchase DB2? The DB2 is strong enough, superb, like iOS Apple phone. right? But you don't need this much of extra features. And by the way, cost cutting, right? You don't want to go ahead and invest more money. I hope you are understanding where from I'm coming, right? My job is getting done now, sir. So the why I have to go for some other exclusive soft, toughest, or craziest, or huge prices softwares. I'm satisfied with this database, sir. So let me continue with this. So you being an employee, you always have to strive for your company, right? Company should You should make your company to invest less. Then only your take home will improve, right? For your manager, you save some money automatically. Out of the amount of money what you saved, he'll give some sort of benefit bonus to you, increments to you. So this is the basic funda you have to learn, understand whenever you are going to work with IT industry, right? So I hope the reason why people are preferring, though this is super best, people are preferring only the best databases, right? Okay, let's try to understand a little bit more. So now, how to install, sir? Download and install. Now you all convinced, sir. So let's proceed and try to understand how to download and install a database software. Okay, so we are going to work with in our classes with Oracle DB only. Why the reason? Though DB2 is best, why the reason I am preferring to teach Oracle? Because most of the industry market share, we call the terminologies, you have to understand, guys. 80% people are using Android phone, 70% people are using, companies are using Oracle, right? So the other way, shall I tell what we say? Oracle market share is 70%. Okay, so this is how people speak in IT terminology. Okay, industry terminology. Market share of Oracle is 70%. Market share of Android is okay. Android is 80%. Okay, market share of Apple is only 15%. Okay, so that's how people speak. Now, why the reason I'm starting off with Oracle, though DB2 is best when compared to Oracle? Because tomorrow you may get into a company where maximum chances they may use this database software only. Okay, Oracle only, right? And once if you know to work with one database software, it will be easy for you to get tuned to other database software. Like, if you know how to do coding in Python, it will be easy for you tomorrow to sit in another programming language classes, because variable, data type, operator, control statements, these are all basics in every programming language, right? And if it is functional, you know how to do function. If it is object oriented, you know how to do object oriented, likewise. Okay, so one language always adds value to your profile to study second language, likewise. One database always. So I will help you out with uh, Oracle. Then it's your duty to explore second database, right? And also let me tell you, if you are my Django students, okay, there I will cover. So usually in Django I will cover MySQL. Okay, so when I cover MySQL in Django, so this is also second best database I prefer you to start. Okay, DB2 you have to put as like third preference. Okay, so MySQL, why? Because open source, right? You also respect open source softwares, because tomorrow you may end up in a company or like a startup where they may use MySQL. So if you know one, second one is very easy to understand. But if you attend my Django sessions, we will be getting into MySQL. So that in your profile you have to write minimum two, maximum four databases. Okay, I'm telling minimum two, maximum four. The other way you have, I'll tell you, not only relational databases, we have NoSQL databases. NoSQL data. Okay, so NoSQL database I'll touch upon little later. So let's try to understand how to download and install. Okay, so Oracle is what which we are going to focus. So Oracle comes up with 9i old versions, 10G, okay, 11i, okay, 12c, 12c r1, okay, 12c r1, and 12c r2, release 1, release 2. Okay, Right. So basically, Arkle comes up with like this. Arkle again, you have Express Edition, okay, Express Edition, and you have Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition. So Enterprise Edition, Express Edition also looks like this only with some variation in the terminology. Okay, so versions, but more are like these are same. Release one, release two. Okay, so C stands for clustering. Okay, so it supports cloud and clustering concept from the version 12. So I recommend you to install Enterprise Edition 12C, either release 1 or release 2. Okay, fine. Now, okay, so what is the difference between Express Edition and Enterprise Edition? Express Edition limits your, okay, limit features, I can tell you. Okay, limit features. Okay, so more features, okay, in simple to speak. And it also differs from the configuration per se. Express Edition can connect to one second, Express Edition can connect to uh, 2 to 4 2 to 4 CPUs. Okay, CPUs. And Enterprise Edition can connect to n CPUs. Okay, so likewise some advantages will be there. So that's the reason I recommend you all to download the Enterprise Edition of Arkle, that is 12C release 1 or 2. Okay, fine. Let us say we have downloaded and we have installed. I recommend you guys to do the installation, download and do the installation on by your own in your system, right? And I'll tell you. So software size is software size is somewhere around 2.5 GB to 3 GB. Okay, having Arkle DB software in your machine is something like, with the Arkle, without Arkle, I can tell you about your machine. If it is with Arkle, your machine will be very slow. If it is without Arkle, your machine will run very fast. Okay, so like, if you have 10 kilos of weight on your head and if you manage whole day, how you feel like, first 1 2 minutes you are okay, but after 5 minutes you always feel suffer, right? When should I throw out this 10,000 weight? Likewise, always your operating system would like to throw out Oracle software from your system. Why? Because the huge, it takes huge amount of space. Likewise, you have to understand. Okay, right. Now, once if you download and install, you will come up with a few things. So you need to know, just to give a second once. Okay, so you should know few things before getting connected to database. Okay, so when you after installation of your database, okay, there is, I will give you a separate link and a file later on. Okay, so where you can able to go ahead and understand how to download and how to install. It's not as simple as like installing your Python software, right? You have to download, that takes an hour or 2 hours of time. The 3 GB software downloading means you have to connect to a very good internet at home. Don't try to connect with hotspot and try to download, it will fail for sure. So please understand the basics, right? I will tell you, lot many hours we have wasted, and with our experience I'm sharing. So if you are working for the first time, please try to understand installing 100 Python software in a single go, not even 100 yet. So tell me, 30 MB of Python software, 30 MB of Python software. So how many 30 MBs in 3 GB? Tell me. So 3 GB means 3000 MB. Correct? 3000 MB. So 1000 times more than of your Python software. Such a big software you are going to download and install. You have to have this point in your mind always. Such a huge software I am installing. Okay, so you are bringing a big bus into your home. Okay, so can your home manage of storing a big bus? Likewise, you have to understand the very huge software you are going to download and install. So I will give link. No need to worry. So do on by your own. Don't get link. Don't get downloaded version from somebody in the pen drive. Okay, and don't install if somebody is saying. You learn on by your own. Go to YouTube videos, don't mind, right? Learn from them. right? So it is like 1 hour 2 hours process. I'm telling you, I'm cautioning you, alerting you, right? So installing Oracle is not that simple. If you have installed Oracle without calling me, then you can imagine yourself you are very good student. Okay. So but I don't think like that. You will for sure reach out to me, sir, I'm not getting this, sir, what should I do here, what should I do that. Likewise you will come and approach, right? Take it as like a challenge and install Oracle 12c release 1. Okay, by going to you, I will help you out with couple of links also, don't need to worry, right? So do that once after completion of our class today. Take out some time and do that installation today. And when you come to my session tomorrow, if you want to practice along with me, you have to have software, Oracle software installed in your machine. If you don't have Oracle software installed in your machine, you cannot able to practice. Just that you can see my programs and you can understand, you will nod your head and you will go back to home, that's it, right? Try to understand. So what, so fine, we have installed Imagine. So what all things will come for you, we need to focus on. So when you install database software, you will get an instance. Okay. So the instance, so there are few things I'll tell you. You will have DB username, DB password, okay, your DB instance, okay. So your DB port number, DB, IP address. So tomorrow, let's say, why the reason these details you need is, okay, so you have to connect. This is your .py. This is your .py, and let's say this is your DB. Okay, so this is the famous symbol people used to draw a database like this. Okay, right now, from Python program to establish connection to a database, right, and to retrieve some data from database to our Python program, and to see in the monitor, okay, to see outputs in our monitor from the Python program, right? You have to first establish connection. So before that, you have to understand some important points about database. Is you will have a username to connect, you will have a password to connect to your database, and you will have some instances. When you install a database, by default, you know an instance gets create for you. You can also create your own instances, right? But by default, an instance gets create for your database. That instance name for Oracle is ORCL for Enterprise Edition. And anyways, you will work with Enterprise Edition only. But I am also giving Express Edition instance name is XE. Okay, XE. So you don't have to bother about this XE. We never use in our concepts, because we are not working with the Express Edition Oracle software. We are working with the Enterprise Edition Oracle software. Okay, ORCL is the instance which comes by default. Okay, if you want, you can create your own instance, right? So let me talk about the users. Okay, so by default, there will be some users. The users are of two types. First type is admin. Okay, second type is, okay, normal user. Okay, admin users, normal users. Okay, without admin, I can, let me highlight as like normal users. Okay, so admin users, normal users, what these people will do is, admin users, they have a flexibility of, like, they can create they can create normal users. Okay, and control permissions to normal users. Means what admin will have full rights. Okay, and they can create normal user 1, normal user 2, and for normal user 1 they can give some abcd rights, right? That we call grant. Okay, and they can revoke the rules, they revoke the permissions. So we call revoke, delete the permissions, likewise. Okay, so some terminologies you have to get familiarized with. Let me highlight them. So you see, by default, when you install your Oracle DB, okay, so there will be some users who will get, like, sys, okay, so, or system. Okay, So system, and you will have another user by default. Another, this is a system or admin users. Okay, and another users by default your Oracle will give is Scott. Okay, Scott is the default user which Oracle will give for us by default. Okay, fine. But in the latest versions of Oracle, they will they have disabled Scott user. You being a, while installing, you can able to enable Scott user. Okay, so you don't have to bother about working with Scott user. Scott is the username and Tiger is the password. This is the standards in your your Oracle. Okay, fine. Now, sir, Scott user and all, don't bother about it. I want you to create a new user. Okay, user you should create. Okay, you should create your own name as like one of the user, and you should start accessing your database. Okay, I will help you out with that. So you understand admin user. Admin users can create normal users. So the username and followed by password, it will follow instances like here is what your database tables will go and sit. So ORCL is the default instance for enterprise edition, XC for express edition, and port number. So why the reason you have to work with the port number, let me tell you. So this is a database software, and this, one second. So what I'll do is I'll just go be downer part. Okay, now you see. So this is side, you are in US. Imagine you are in US. Okay, and you are working in your in your computer. Okay, and this side your database is somewhere in uh, okay, in Delhi. Imagine, okay, in Delhi. Okay, right, in some of the software industry in Delhi, your database is there, and here there are multiple systems are there. Okay, so your database is also in one system. Okay, I'll do one thing. Okay, I'll try to keep it neat. Let's say this is one network, and in this network you have four computers. Okay, and in these four computers, how you identify individual computer, tell me how you get identified as an individual with your roll number. Likewise, how a computer gets identified with its IP address. I hope you understand what is IP address. IP address is a unique name given for your every computer, am I right? Likewise, every computer in a network will contain its own IP address. Okay, fine. Now the other side of it is your Python program is there in some other location. Okay, so your Python program, you would like to connect to a company. In that company, okay, imagine this is one of the network, these are all in a network. Okay, right. Now here this is the mission. Okay, so you want to connect which computer, so that's the reason you have to give IP address. So I want to connect to IP address 2. So when you mention it, while coming inside, automatically your Python program will try to talk to this computer, right, but not other computers. Right, in this computer also, you see, he can install multiple softwares. So here there is a SQL, MySQL software. Okay, imagine MySQL software. Okay, and here there is a DB2 software. DB2 software. Yes, one system can have multiple database software. Yes, of course. And here is what Oracle software he has installed, and here is what, let us say, he has got Tomcat server. Okay, so four different softwares he has got. So now tell me, my Python program should talk to Oracle database only, right? So how your Python program has come to computer, which computer to talk, but in the computer to which software it has to talk, it has to talk to Oracle software. So how do you know that my program should go and talk to Oracle software only? How do you ensure that? You will ensure that with a concept of port number. every software comes up with some port number. The uniqueness of software you can bring in through port number. So every software comes up with a unique port number. So always Arkle sits in a default port number, that is 1521. Okay, 1521 is 1521 is the default port number where your Arkle sits in. Okay, sir, if it is so this is how you have to connect from one machine to another machine to send the data or to work with the database. So but in our example, what do we do is, we will, my system itself is my host machine, my system itself is the client and server. So Python program also resides in my machine, and my Arkle DB also resides in my machine. Okay, so what I will do is, I cannot give another IP address. I have to give my current machine IP address only, right? Because when, see, my this is my computer, imagine. Okay, this is my computer, imagine. Okay, and here is what my Arkle DB got installed in my computer, right? So communication is happening internally, right, in the computer only. So one IP address only, this computer only communication is happening. So what IP address I need to tell to Python program? Hey, we are local, yeah. Okay, so database is there in local only, don't have to bother. Okay, I don't have to specifically exclusively give the IP address of my machine. I should say local, so that Python program understands, okay, where is this Python program is running, in this machine only the database is installed, so I can talk to it directly like this. Okay, local host refers to current mission IP address. Okay, so local host refers to current mission IP address. You can write down that one line. Current mission IP address. Okay, now, right. So port number of Arkle is 1521. These are some standards you have to follow. Okay, right. Now the other way you can also tell, okay, 127.0.0.0.1. Okay, so this is also this address also, this IP address also points to local mission. Local mission, are you understanding? This address also points to local mission. So I hope you have understood what is localhost, why the IP address is required, why the port number is required. Because to talk to the respective certain software, okay, if you don't give 1521, it will not get connected to the Oracle database. It got reached to the respective system, right, with the IP address. But if you don't give 1521, it cannot connect to the Oracle DB, right? So it's something like that. You got to know your college name, so you reached your college name. There are hundreds of colleges are there in your city, but with the name of the college name, you reached your college gate. But once if you enter into the college gate, which department you have to reach, you don't know. If you don't know the name of the department, you cannot go to that respective block. Am I right? Likewise. Okay, so let me proceed. Okay, so we have understood the basics of database and all. Now let us go ahead and understand. Uh, let's go ahead and understand. Sir, fine, sir. We have installed and all the basic information, meta information of your databases. We have got it. Now let's try to understand how to do programming in database. Okay, so see, front end we say programming. Okay, front end or middleware. Okay, we say programming. Okay, so we use what languages. Okay, programming we do, we use programming languages to do your front end coding or middleware coding. So this example are like, Python or Java. Okay, right. But backend, you are learning from last 1 hour, you are trying to understand about backends. Okay, the GAN whatever I have been giving from last 1 hour is all about backends. So backend, you what do? You don't do programming, you do querying. Okay, so querying is what the term you have to say. Okay, and you don't use programming languages, you will use querying languages. So you call SQL means for what? SQL means structured query language. Okay, structured query language. Okay, fine. So what you need to understand is, I will give some small make understanding. So here is what you have installed. Here is what you have installed, your Oracle DB, right? So Oracle DB brings in a SQL prompt for you. This SQL prompt helps in talking to your Oracle DB. Okay, so here you have to do querying. Here is coding as part database coding you have to do here, right? This is about Oracle DB. Okay, now, sir, next day I have installed MySQL. Okay, so you have installed MySQL, that is MySQL. So when you install MySQL, automatically you will get an SQL supportive of that software. So like Python, when you install, how you have got idle. Likewise, when you install a database software, by default you will get this SQL prompt. What you will do here is you will have to write create table in. I will come back to the coding part, but try to understand. Here is what you will write code. So you will have to connect it to database from your SQL provided, MySQL provided SQL prompt. And tomorrow I have installed another database like DB2, let us say. So DB2 database also helps for me providing its own supportive SQL prompt. Okay, so every databases will provide one SQL prompt for sure, because if they don't provide SQL prompt, you cannot able to talk to that database. Okay, so that's the reason, sir. Do I need to install SQL? Installing SQL is a meaningless statement. You don't install SQL, but installing programming language is a meaningful statement. Yes, you install Python, you install Java, but there are no different names for your SQL is what got it gets inclined, embedded in your database softwares. By default it will come. So you don't have to bother about the installation of your SQLs. You have to only bother about the installation of your database software. Once if your database software is installed properly, automatically you will get your SQL prompt. Okay, so SQL means structured query language, more of like English oriented statements you will see here. Okay, right. So now how to, so SQL in a nutshell. Okay, SQL is broadly categorized into four types: DDL, DML, TCL, and DCL. Okay, see guys, without giving all the brief of databases, straight away I can get into Python database connectivity program. I can bring in RCX underscore Oracle module, and then straight away I can start typing programs. But you will not get the real essence of it. Okay, why we have to do Python programming database connectivity unless until if you don't know the importance of databases. So that is the reason is what I am trying to explain, all the database basics. Try to understand. Now, SQL comes up with four types of languages internally, right? This is data definition language. Okay, data definition language. Okay, data manipulation language. Okay, so transaction control language, and data control language. So all this together we call it as like an SQL, structure query language. All these things are there. So there are some supportive commands will be there. So create is a command which helps. Okay, so basically data definition language means it affects to the metadata. Okay, so I'll explain that. Okay, some example commands let me give: create, drop, okay, alter. These are some example commands. Just make note. We will see these things in practical so that you will understand them. As of now, just write down. So your Data manipulation language means this manipulates on the data, it works affects to the data, right? So update, delete is what couple of commands which comes under your DML commands. TCL means commit, okay, save point, rollback. So these are all some examples of transaction control language. Like commit means what, control S. Okay, rollback means what, undo. Okay, control Z. DCL means data control language. This is like grant, revoke, grant all. Okay, so revoke all, something like this. So these are some commands which comes under your data control language. Okay, so how to so very basics, where from I should start, sir? SQL starting you should do from CRUD operations. So tomorrow when you move to IT industry, so people say that did you tested all the CRUD operations, we'll say. So what do you mean by CRUD operations, sir? CRUD means create, read, update, delete. Okay, delete or drop. So basically these are all basic operations you have to perform, you will be performing on the database, right? So now so that's the reason you have to so what we are also going to do is we are also going to see all these CRUD operations, how does it will work in the uh, Python programming language. Okay, right. Now let us go ahead and see these things. Now what I am going to do is, as I have told you, if I have a database, okay, and here is what I have my Python program. Okay, so before connecting my database with Python program, I will try to make you understand how to connect this with the SQL. Okay, SQL. Okay, so in Oracle you say SQL plus. Okay, SQL plus. Okay, all leads to querying language windows only, IDEs only. So here I want to create a table in my database. I want to create a table. Okay, so before creating table, what should I do? I should establish connection. I should connect, right? Like when we worked with the files, before writing something in the files we have opened the file, right? Likewise you have to connect to a database. Once if you connect to database, then you can start working with your database. Like you can create your table, you can insert data, you can update data, you can delete data, you can select data, you can drop data. Okay, so these are all the basic commands I would like to show. Now I am going to open a new window that is called SQL plus. Before writing create statement, I have to connect username and password is what I have to give. So please see, since I have already installed Oracle in my system, what I'm going to do now is I will just type SQL. Can you see when I type SQL plus, a window is getting open, app is getting open. So let me click on SQL. I am not yet have started anything related to Python database connectivity. I am just still in the introduction of database. So theoretical explanation is kind of over. Now let us go ahead and understand how to work with the databases in practical. Okay. So now the moment when I have started, see it has opened SQL plus prompt, like command prompt or your Python interpreter, Python idle, how that it gets open. We have got to see now SQL prompt. Okay, SQL plus. Okay, now here here what is the username? It is asking. So you see release 12.1. Okay, so I am working with the 12 C release. That is what you have to understand. Now enter username is what it is asking. Let me give the username which I have already created. Okay, Python dev. Okay, and Python dev 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, if you see the username python dev 1 2 3 4 5 password, when I gave, immediately it got connected to Oracle DB. Okay, Oracle DB it got connected to. Fine. Now you see prompt has moved to SQL, right? Okay. So here is what, now what I can do is I can, so sir, who created the in my mission also, the moment when I install a Python sorry, Oracle database software, straight away can I type Python dev as username and Python dev 1 2 3 4 5 as like password? Will it also open like the way how it got opened in your machine, sir? If this is your question, no, it will not install, it will not open this username password in your machine. As I was telling you, you have to create your own user. Okay, so I will show how to create your own user. There are some steps involved in that. Okay, so let me try to open. Okay, so you can see. Okay, please understand. First time you have to do some configuration settings. I want your 100% focus here and take a screenshot of this page, right? And the moment once after you install your Oracle software, you have to do this. Okay, so wherever you have installed your software, you can directly do SQL plus in the command prompt also. It will lead to, okay, fine, let me do that. In the command prompt, let me type SQL plus. Can you see when I type in the command prompt SQL plus, it is leading me to uh, what is that, SQL prompt. Likewise in command prompt, if you type, okay, let me do one thing, python dev python dev 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so quit is a function to come out from the SQL prompt. Now if I type Python, it will take me to Python window. Are you understanding? Wherever you want to go, you can go from through your command prompt. Okay, end of day you are working in your system, so command prompt, your Windows operating system, through command prompt you can jump in wherever you want, right? So exit is the function, exit is a function to get out from the Python, and again to get into SQL plus. Okay, understand? So likewise, so go to SQL plus. Now you got your SQL, so now I got my SQL. So for the first time, okay, what you need to do is username as sysdba. So let me do one thing now. Here itself I'll try to explain for you. Sys as sysdba. Okay, can you see that I have typed that command? Now enter password. What is the password I have to give? Oracle underscore 999. Okay, so ORACLE underscore 999. Now you see I have connected. So who connected? Earlier when I shown Python dev, that is a normal user connected, but now whatever I am showing is one of the admin. Okay, system, sys user has got connected. So basically admin got connected, so admin has got rights to create a user. So first time you have to connect with admin. Okay, so by default it will take Oracle underscore 9 or what you gave while installing, or directly click on. Okay, so basically while installing also it will ask you to give some password. Okay, so you can give this one. Okay, they recommend us to give this, so likewise. Okay, so or you can double click on for 2 times. If you have not given any password, it will directly accept. Now, fine, sir. We have logged in. Now, what I need to do? Alter session set underscore Oracle underscore script is equals to true. Okay, so you are now trying to alter your session to create a users, to create a different user. So let me type this. So okay, for now you have to understand this is the mandatory statement we need to give to create a user. Set, okay, space. Are you able to see? ORCL underscore script. Okay, script is equals to true. And for every command it followed by semicolon, you have to follow in the Oracle. So the moment when I execute, session got altered. Why we have altered session? Because now I am going to create a new user. How do I do that? Create user, username. Okay, so create user. Okay, Python dev1, create user, username Yuktesh, identified by password. Okay, so create username Python dev1, identified by password. Python dev 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so I am giving semicolon. You see, I am giving semicolon. Let me hit on enter. User created. Are you understanding? So like this, you also have to create a user on by your own name. Okay, right? So once if user got created, okay, now what you need to do is, okay, in the note whatever I'm giving, in place of Yuktesh and Yuktesh 1 2 3, you can give your own user ID and password. Now grant DBA to Yuktesh. So Yuktesh user got created, but he has not got any permissions as of now to work with the database. So you need to grant the permission to that user. So grant DBA to Python dev1. Okay, so when I give grant DBA to Python dev1, for Python dev1 got granted the permission successfully. Now what you have to do is, so whatever the steps till now you have done, you have to commit it. So this is what you have to start practicing in Oracle, in SQL. Whatever you are doing, you have to for sure ensure of commit. Like in Windows Word document, whatever you are doing, control s you do, right? You will say whatever the work you have done. Likewise, you have to commit all the time. So Python dev1 is the user which I have created just now in front of you, correct? So let us work with the Python dev1 only. Okay, so now what I will do is, I will close this window, right? I'll close this notepad. I'll try to give that notepad for you, don't need to worry, right? So my SQL plus is already open. Okay, so let me close all the SQL plus. Okay, it's always good practice whenever you do a new installation, something like that. It's always close and open once again. Okay, right. So now open directly from some command prompt. If you want to do, you can do SQL plus. This is one way, right? Or else directly SQL plus you can open. Now, what is the username? Python dev1. Okay, Python dev 1 2 3 4 5. Enter. Successfully I have created a user, and then I made ensured that user got connected to the database, right? Now let us try to understand CRUD operations. Okay, so basic CRUD operations. User got connected. Now let's try to understand CRUD operations. You have to know create command, you have to know insert command. Okay, create helps in creating table, insert helps in inserting data, update helps in updating the rows, delete helps in deleting the rows. Okay, drop helps in dropping the table. Okay, so just write on one hour line. Okay, creates a new table, insert rows, update row values, delete rows. Go on mute everybody. Rows and delete tables. So what I will do is, I will take another 10 minutes and I will give break. Okay, so this I'll just simply show this commands, and then I will give break. So let me, where I am. Okay, now, so as I told you, I am ready with my SQL. You see, I am going to check whether any table with student is there or not. Select star from employee. Okay, employee table is there or not. Select star from employee. There is no table with employee. So basically select is the command Okay, out of all, select is the separate command I'm writing here. Okay, if you see select, nowhere I have written in SQL, DDL, DML, TCL, DCL, right? Select, nowhere I have written. So select is a special command which helps in reading. Okay, reading or displaying. Okay, so you can say that. Okay, fine. Select is the only one command that will not do, it will not do any modification to your database. It's kind of only reading, right? Reading operation. Right, now let us go ahead and see. There is no employee table in our database. Right now what I am doing is create table. So, sir, you have not taught this syntax. How can you directly say give commands? This is not a great subject, tough subject as such. Go to Google, SQL basics. Go and watch 1 2 hours of SQL basic commands. You will understand if you are not familiarized with the SQL. But most of the students are already done DBMS, so you must be aware of this, and very basics only. I am creating a table. Create table. Table name is employee. Okay, and uh, employee eid data type I am giving int. So we here the reverse of programming languages, we give data type later. Okay, in C language, in Java language, you give data type first, right? Here we give later. Eid is a variable name and int is the data type. Okay, so e name, employee name, varchar 2 of 20. So varchar 2 of 20 means varchar is like string data type. Okay, varchar 2 means varchar second generation of data type. This is so advanced data type, I can tell you. So what it does is, if let's say if you are giving, oh sorry, 1 second. Okay, 1 second. So clear screen is the command you have to use to clear your screen. So basically, what I was trying to help you out is, whenever if I give varchar 2 of 20, what it does is it can take 20 characters up to now, but you gave Srinu is the name. So how many characters it has utilized? Only 5 characters. The other 15 characters it will not block, it will release it for the some other purpose. Okay, so whereas in other previous versions of varchar to varchar data type, it is going to block the, are you understanding? If this is like, 20 characters is up to this extent, right? So you have taken 20 characters of space, but you have not utilized the 15 characters. So this space will be freed. Okay, so that's what the advantage of that varchar. To create a table name is employee. Okay, so eid, employee id integer, e name is like varchar 2 of 20. Okay, and esal is like integer, and eaddr is like varchar 2. Okay, I'm taking a very basic uh, table. So how many columns it will get? Create table. Eid is one, ename is second, ecell is third, and e address is fourth. So put colon, enter. Table got created successfully, right? Table got created successfully. Now you go ahead and see whether it got created or not. Select star from employee. Okay, so no rows are selected. In the sense table got created successfully, but there are no rows in it. Select star. Star means completely whatever is there in the table you bring in and show to me. That's what it is. Now try to insert into table name values. Now try to insert integer. Okay, so 1001 is what my eid, and e name is, let us say, Srinivas, and esal, let's say this guy is dragging 25,000 salary, and his address is, let's say, Tirupati. Okay, Tirupati is his address. Now close it, semicolon, enter. One row inserted, right? So now select a star from employee. Now can you see that one row got inserted? Now can you also see that e name is like big, and addr is also big? It is because of that 20 whatever you have given. Okay, right? Horizontally it is showing much big, right? That's how it is. Now let us try to insert another row. I'll just up arrow and I'll try to change the values here. Okay, 1002. Okay, and let's say Madhu. Okay, so this guy's salary is 30,000. Okay, and he is from Hyderabad. Okay, so let me click on enter. Second row got created. Go and check. Yes, second row got successfully created. Right, likewise we can go on insert. Okay, let me quickly put up some data. Okay, okay, I'm not getting any names. Kaushik. Okay, so oh sorry, what is the mistake? Quote string not properly terminated. Okay, so if you see 105 got this. So right now let me give one more row. So yeah, right. So 60,000 is from Chennai. Okay, right. Fine. So now select star from employee. You see, we have successfully created a table of minimum rows, that is 6 rows, right? And this is what the command, how many commands we have touched upon. You see, we have learned how to create a table, we have learned how to insert data, we have learned how to see the data. So 3 more commands are there, very simple commands I would like to show. Now you wanted to update Ravi, name is a mistake. Ravi, it's not Ravi, it is Ravi Kumar. Okay, so how do you do that? Update, which are you updating? Update employee set ename, set ename is equals to, his name is equals to Ravi Kumar. Double quotes will not work here, you have to provide single quotes only. Okay, so ename is equals to Ravi Kumar, where ename, where eid, it is always good practice to where you are showing up, right? Where it is always good practice to show your employee id only. Okay, Ravi employee ID is how much? 1003. So one row got updated. Let's go ahead and see whether it got updated or not. Yes. You see Ravi got updated to Ravi Kumar, right? So this is what the way how you use your update command. Okay, and that's how you will update it. Now let us try to update Madhu salary, increase it from 30,000 to 32,000. You tell me, what should I do? Update, sorry, update emp set salary. Now esal is equals to how much it got updated? 33,000. So 3,000 got increment he got. So set esal equals to 33, where eid is equals to, don't say that where eid is where esal is equals to 30,000, rather you say where eid is equals to 100. Always denote the data using your employee id, because that is something which we put uh, unique. Or else what happens, wherever the 30,000 salaries are there, for everybody it will update to 33. So you are giving increment only to Madhu, not for the other people who are earning 30,000, right? So that's how you will now you see it got updated. Madhu's salary got updated to 33,000. So let us try to delete. Kaushik is leaving the company. Let us say delete from okay, so delete from employee where EID is equals to 1005. One row deleted. Okay, so you see now Kaushik got deleted. That's how it is. Now drop. Okay, select table E. Okay, X. I'm creating a table X C1 int. Okay, now insert into X. Insert into table name values. I'm just giving 100. So select star from X. So you got C1 is 100. I don't want to drop my employee table. That's the reason I created a small table, and I would like to show dropping this table. So drop table name. X is what the table I want to drop. Table dropped. Now you see select star from X once again. It will not come. Table or view does not exist. Understand? So that's how if I drop table employee, our employee table also will drop. Okay, now what I will do is I will place my Kaushik data like that. Why? Because okay, I brought in my Kaushik data as well. Now you see this is what your whole table, right? So what I have done till now is, if you really understood the concept, right? So here Python is there, here DB is there, right? Before connecting to Python and your Python and database, what I have taught you is we have learned how to connect to SQL, right? How to connect to database through SQL, and we tried seeing some commands, and in the database we tried creating employee, and now employee table is there. I also created a small X table, and I also deleted that X table. But now in the database employee table is still live with 6 rows. Am I right? Okay, now let's go for break. Now what I will do is I will next session what I will let you know is how why we have to connect to Python. Okay, sir, we have already SQL, right? SQL is very much helping for me to connect to my database, where I can able to create database and we can able to work with the database, right? Why still I should connect to a programming language? What is the necessity? First you should understand that necessity requirement, then we will go ahead and learn how we can connect to our database. Okay, right?